Welcome back, guys, to another video. In today's video, I will be focusing on removing and flattening this portion out. Basically, just want to remove where the spare tire sits. Now, the reason I want to do this is, one reason is I want this surface to be completely flat, just so I can have more working space and just so I can have things much easier. Also, is for the exhaust. As you can see here, it takes up quite a lot of space. And if I want to route it the way I do, it's just not going to work and it has to go. And the third reason is just for a diffuser. It will be much easier to make and shape the diffuser if this whole thing isn't here. Firstly, I'll just begin with removing the battery. Well, actually just moving it out of the way since it is in the way. Removing the seats and all of that stuff. Then I will be getting right back at you. Alright, and after some time I've removed the seats, I've removed the battery out of the way. So now I have more access here, and then I can just start cutting all of this out. Now I do have to make sure, watch out for these wires, but other than that, I'll be all good. I just have to make sure to unplug the battery, just in case, you never know. Then I'll just start cutting this out, and then I'll see you then. Right, now that I've completely stripped everything out, covered the battery and all the other stuff, also removed some of the wires that was here. Also, I've covered the rear side, removed absolutely everything from here, and then now I can start cutting. Let's get to it. Actually, before I start cutting this, I want to move the car all the way back so I can cover the important things like the sway bars, just so any sparks doesn't get in it and start rusting. I'll back this up, cover it up, and then I'll start cutting. And here is the first part complete. As you can see, this is completely out, and there's a nice hole here that I can just fabricate and put a nice piece in here. That'll be next. But what I also want to do is I want to trim this piece right here. Also, I'll do that as well. Well, as you can see by my absolute mess and by all the shreddings and dirt that was come up here, I've trimmed down the rear section, so now it's much more up. It's much more removed, so it's raised a bit. I've also completely removed this tire bin. I've also removed this little hitch that I was not using due to this little bar right here. The only thing left pretty much is just to smooth all these surfaces out and then measure out the piece that I will be putting on here and then gluing that in, and this should be really it. Well, I'm also vacuuming everything since it is quite, well, messy around here. But I'll start cleaning things up. I'll start measuring stuff, and then I will be on to gluing the parts, well, the sheet of metal. After running to the store to grab some sheet metal, to grab some more silicone, just to seal off any surfaces, I'll begin to actually fill this hole in. But before I do, the first thing I want to do is take a measurement of this portion right here, just so I can weld a little bar through here, just so this metal doesn't sit on absolutely nothing. This metal right here. I'll do that with probably 1/8 inch thick steel. Now again, that solid steel is not going to be a supporting piece that connects from this frame rail to this frame rail. What I'll be doing to support it is using some down tubing and connecting it and making an H pattern to connect these two frame rails, just to re-add any structure that I removed from this portion here. But I'll start to measuring out this section here, and then I'll weld in that 1/8 thick tube. So I've transferred the line on the piece of cardboard, this line right here. Now I can transfer this line to an actual steel beam, and I can cut it out and mock it up. Then I can weld it, and then I can start installing these sheets of metal right here. So I have cut out the metal piece, and I've also placed it up with some magnets. Now I want to glue some components in, so it's going to be much easier for me to tack this in the morning. Alright, so I've transferred the not the cardboard template that I've drawn out onto the piece of metal right here. I did have to use 4 separate pieces since they didn't have a long enough sheet metal. Now I'm just going to weld all of these sides up. I'm going to grind them down to make them look quite nice. I'm going to round off all the edges And then and once that's done, I will weld this piece to the actual body. So I've welded this entire bin right here. I've also sanded it down so it's so there's not any so I can paint it and stuff. But so far it looks pretty good. I'm really happy with it. I just want to test it out in the car, and then it's pretty much welding time in the actual car, and it should be quite nice. And here we have the finished product. It does line up pretty well. I'm just going to trim this piece right here a tiny bit, since it does sit pretty close to the battery. Also, I do need to weld this little triangle right here to cover this hole right here. But then pretty much you're just going to have to sand all of this area right here, and then tack welded, and then fully welded. Oh, and also sand everything, and that's pretty much it. It's going along pretty well. So sometime later, I've fully welded this piece like I've showed you before. I've also tacked it in place. It is pretty sturdy. I was able to sit on it, I was able to stand on it, so it's pretty nice. Next up, I just want to finish welding it all the way through and then seal it off on the underneath side so it doesn't rust. I've also skipped ahead and cut away this plot right here, and as well this plot right here as well. I didn't think I would actually be cutting those off, but whoop, I guess I did. So I've already made a small template so I can make a sheet metal so I can cover this hole. This hole is still not finished. I have to do some trimming. I can't do it right now since the wheel is in the way, but once I take it off, I'll be able to fully finish it, straighten it out, and it'll be all good for another template. But so far, I'll finish making this template, and that's it. Alright, so here's pretty much the completed product. I skipped forward and did this side, along with this side as well. And along with it, painted everything black onto that side, and put the material back on. This did took quite a while, but I am pretty happy with the results. The last thing I gotta do is paint under this bumper. I put it back on since it's raining. But other than that, pretty much paint this black as well. Finish everything off, and also I still need to cover underneath this piece right here with some silicone or anything that will prevent water from getting inside the car. But other than that, I am pretty happy with it. So looking at this piece right here, I completely have finished absolutely everything. It looks pretty nice. As you can see, everything is flat and nice, everything is back together. Now what I want to go back to doing is removing rust right here now that I have access to it, sealing all of this up, as well as finishing up those parts right there, which I need to. I started sealing, but it's not everything. I want to take care of that, and then I'll be back. So I've completely sealed off this area right here. Now I'm just waiting for it to dry. I've also sanded down these 2 points right here where the jacking point was. Also the bottom I did paint some, and I fully painted that side right there. Now I'm pretty much just gonna wait for this to dry, then going to trim it down so it doesn't have all of these nipples or whatever sticking out, and then paint it. And here's pretty much the final result. I've already double painted everything in here. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. It's still drying, but that's not a problem. Now, although I'm pretty happy with this, the one thing that I'm not happy is... Well, actually, no, I'm pretty happy with everything. It's just it's just really time consuming, this whole thing. Would I do it to the Echo or any other vehicle? Maybe, maybe not, but just not right away. I could have also welded these sides right here where I put sealer at, but the only reason I didn't was because I really don't want to weld upside down. It's really a pain, spatter gets absolutely everywhere, and it's a whole lot of mess. But either way, I just have to wait for this to fully dry so I can reconnect this thing right here. And that's pretty much it. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.